going, everyone? The one MFP here. I hope you're all doing great. Today I come to you with a new Tyler Joseph No Fun Intended reaction, and I've been itching to do another one of these. I've been listening to a lot of older 21 Pilots music as of late, and some of the No Fun Intended songs as well, namely Save, Blasphemy, Tonight. So yeah, it just had me wanting to react to another No Fun Intended track and move forward in this reaction series. I find it super fascinating to explore some of Tyler Joseph's older writings, just because, you know, of course, a lot of the thoughts and emotions, they've evolved over time, but there's definitely a lot of patterns you could observe from music that dates back all the way to here, you know, No Fun Intended days before 21 Pilots. And, you know, you could observe those patterns from there up until where we're at now, going into Scaled and Icy. And I just find it really interesting to observe the evolution over time, you know, whether we're talking about sound or the ways in which he describes the different thoughts and emotions, and how we see the themes evolve over time as well. But beyond that, it's just, I find it interesting that we get to see some of these thoughts in a more raw form, you know, before the personifications and the conceptualizations. We have these thoughts in a very raw form, and it's interesting to explore that. It gives you a little bit more context for what he's talking about later on in albums like Blurry Face and Trench and probably Scaled and Icy. So I want to jump right into this reaction. Falling 2, that's track number 12 off of No Fun Intended. If you've missed any of my prior No Fun Intended reactions, you could find them all in the playlist I have linked down below. Also, I mean, if you're new to this channel, the way I like approaching these reactions is I just let the song play out, and, you know, I really try and immerse myself in the song. Once it's done, I give you guys my thoughts. I explore my thoughts relating to the lyrics as well, and I try and explain that while going over the lyrics with you. So I hope you enjoy the reaction and hope you enjoy the analysis afterwards as well. But let's jump right into this reaction.
You walk around like you are fine, so confident and life's alright. But then I found you were afraid, and if there's anything to find, I hope that you will wake someday and see that life is not okay. I will sing for you a song. Tell me if you think that's wrong. Did you know I'd run all day just to maybe hear you say that you are falling too? Tell me if you think that's wrong, if I let you know I'm here. 'Cause I am falling down, but you are falling too.
Wow. This is beautiful.
I will sing for you. I will sing for you.
There we have it, Falling 2, and man, I guess just to touch on what I was speaking on a bit earlier prior to the reaction about, you know, a certain raw feel to some of this earlier music, in part because you have less of the personification and conceptualization that Tyler uses to really give us a good, vivid mental image of what he's thinking and what he's feeling. Well, what also needs to be considered is the fact that he's evolved so much as a musician, as a producer as well. There's a lot of production that goes into 21 Pilots music, and it makes for some incredible music. But you go back to some of these earlier songs and you have something way more stripped back. You know, you have these songs that are just purely piano with a little bit of a drum beat going on with it. So you just have Tyler drum beat piano, and it makes for something beautiful and intimate. And it's pretty crazy to think that he made this music basically in his basement. You know, it'd be really interesting to hear what these songs would sound like if he had the tools that he now has at his disposal. But nonetheless, this was a solid song. I really like the piano playing on this. I like the lyrics. I find it interesting that we're talking about a song again and Tyler singing. It's a theme that we're seeing a lot in this earlier Tyler Joseph music. And it's interesting to think about where that's directed, because music is one of those themes that you see play out across all of 21 Pilots music. It shows up in bits and pieces of songs spread out across each album. You know, Chlorine is one of the big ones in Trench. We had mention of it in Shy Away already off of Scaled and Icy, and we only have one track so far off of that album, at the time of me recording this at least. Bring it back to like Blurry Face, you could say Not Today. There's definitely implications involving the music as well. You know, that line about just because I play the piano, don't think I won't take you down. Go back to Vessel, Ode to Sleep. Case in point, music is just one of those landmarks. It's one of those central themes to the albums. You know, you could look to that and see where Tyler's at in dealing with certain struggles. You know, what is he relating to the music? As far as this earlier music goes, if you go to a song like Blasphemy, it seems that you know, his music is a bit of a safe place for him. It's his way of expressing the thoughts that he's scared to put out there. The things that he's scared to live out, he allows himself to express in the form of music. So it's a sort of escape. It's also a method for him to explore thoughts and feelings. So in some ways it could represent freedom. It's interesting to think of that term, freedom, when you think of the subject matter we're exploring overall. Anyways, let's just jump into the lyrics and I'll discuss that a little bit more at length as we go through each verse. So verse 1 starts as such. You walk around like you are fine, so confident in life, so right, but then I found you were afraid, and that means life is not okay. So perspective matters here. We have the subject, and this person is talking to somebody else. We don't know at this point whether it's an internal dialogue, if he's talking about himself, or if he's looking outward and you know, noticing that people are portraying a certain something, but then if he gets a little closer to them, he notices that they're not what they appear to be. You know, they're not as okay as they make themselves out to be. With that in mind, the confidence appears to be a facade. But again, who are we talking about? It's not quite clear at this point in the song, so let's move along. I wonder what's inside your mind, and if there's anything to find. I hope that you awake someday and see that life is not okay. So at this point in the song, I was kind of telling myself, well, it's unlikely that this is an internal dialogue, because why would he be telling himself, I wonder what's inside your mind? You know, he's kind of exploring his own mind already and having that internal dialogue, so why say something like that? Furthermore, the term awake really stood out to me here, because it's one of those things that it just seems fundamentally important to 21 Pilots music. You know, you think to Car Radio when he says there's faith and there's sleep and you need to pick one, please. You know, the whole concept of the day and the night and sleep and being awake, it's significant to the storytelling. So within the context of this song, when he's saying, and if there's anything to find, I hope you awake someday, it sounds to me like he's saying, I don't know what you believe in. I don't know what it is that you have to find. I don't know what purpose you have to work towards, but whatever it is, I hope that you find that hope. And, you know, once you do find it, once you do have something you're working towards, I think it will put your life in perspective. It won't be this sense of being lost in a large landscape. You know, now you could situate yourself and you could visualize what your objectives are. You would be able to understand how to progress, and you would have a sense of direction in your life. And I think that's something that Tyler strives for himself, as we've explored throughout these No Fun Intended reactions. I do think he's caught between two places and he's not sure which direction to go in. So when he's looking outwards and he's saying, I could see through your facade, I hope that you find it within yourself to solidify a belief and find something to work towards. It feels like he's also speaking to himself at the same time, you know, that what he's seeing outside is a reflection of what he's going through internally. So now we jump into the chorus. I will sing a song for you, tell me if you think that's wrong. If I let you know I'm here 'cause I am falling down, I would laugh away the pain. Did you know I'd run all day just to maybe hear you say that you are falling too? You know, it sounds like he's hoping that other people are going through his struggles, which puts a lot of what I just said into perspective, I feel. I think he feels that with the way society functions, he's kind of put in a spot where he has to maintain a certain facade. He has to put on a mask to hide away, you know, some of those internal struggles, some of those things that can be perceived as shameful. There's definitely this strong theme of guilt that we see in these No Fun Intended songs, that we also see in the self-titled album a lot. And honestly, it goes on up to the current day of 21 Pilots music in different forms. But what we see here in these earlier songs is a lot of it is tied to him feeling like he's supposed to act a certain way. He's supposed to be a certain person that is in line with his faith. But he doesn't always feel like he can act that way. And mostly the reason is that he has these questions that are troubling him. He doesn't have a true purpose to which he could assign those actions, you know? He doesn't believe in that purpose. He doesn't believe it's real all the time. But at the end of the day, at this point in time, he feels like he has to maintain that facade. He does have to keep on that mask. He has to hide away these struggles and these thoughts, because if he were to put it out there, he would be judged. He would be criticized. And as far as this song goes, up until this point, it does seem like he's being critical of other people he's seeing that are kind of in that similar position. And he does seem to be placing a little bit of blame, just in the sense that he feels the way he feels because they're doing what they're doing, and he feels like he has to reciprocate that action, you know, of hiding. Then we jump into verse 2 and he's saying, I know you are afraid of many things, but you need to let go if you want to sing a praise. And I found this one particularly interesting, just going back to what I was just saying about how it seems like he's pointing the finger a little bit and placing a little bit of blame, in the sense that he wants to be able to be free, but he feels like he can't because he's stuck behind his own facade and his mask. You know, he's kind of trapped himself in an identity. He's trapped himself in trying to portray a certain something and be a certain somebody while being someone else behind closed doors. You know, he's kind of in opposition to what he's trying to portray. And if we were to go back to a song like Blasphemy, it does seem like the struggle is there. The blasphemous thoughts are there that he is a bit ashamed of, but he just tucks those away. You know, he doesn't allow himself to actually explore them. And as long as he doesn't, those thoughts are going to haunt him, so he will never be able to get closer to his faith. He'll never truly be able to be himself and understand who he is, because he's hidden that person away. So he can never really explore those thoughts properly. He can never grow from the questioning. So instead, he's growing from the discord between identities. Then we have the chorus again, and we have an outro that says, I will sing for you, I will sing for you. And, you know, again, going back to the significance of music when we're talking about Tyler's writing, it's an important part of him expressing himself. And when he says, I will sing for you, in as much as the song feels like it's directed outwardly at certain people while also reflecting an internal conflict, I do feel like when he says something like, I want to sing for you, it's also tying back to his faith. You know, he wants to sing his praise. He wants to be closer to his faith. But if he ever wants to reach that place where he is more in touch with his faith, where he can write about his faith and sing his praise, he will have to journey through darkness, you know? And with this song, it feels like he's saying if people were just a little bit more open about these types of struggles, then maybe we would stop shaming people so much for these types of thoughts. Maybe we would start being a little bit more compassionate, and that compassion would allow for people like Tyler to express themselves more freely. Furthermore, if he were able to express these thoughts more freely, maybe there would be less guilt, which is again one of those main themes that we see play out across multiple albums in 21 Pilots' discography. Maybe a significant portion of the struggle would cease to exist, and if he truly does feel that way, it would make sense that there's some anger tied to it. It would make sense that he feels that this is a bit of an unnecessary struggle in some way, if he were to tie it into, society's standards or the way society operates. So if he were truly to feel that, it would make sense that we see anger as a theme in some of these songs. So yeah, that's pretty much what I made of this song here, Falling 2. It's one of those songs, again, that, there's a lot of raw emotion and a raw feel to it. And it adds so much perspective to some of the later songs. And it gives those songs a very dynamic feel, because now you have what's going on immediately in those songs, and you have some added context from these older songs. It's just so fascinating to explore. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I always love hearing what you have to say, whether it's about the song, the lyrics, what I had to say. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. I always appreciate the support. And yeah, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you all next time. Have a great day, y'all.